Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Yevamot page 108, which discusses the situation of a girl who is not the age of majority, in which in Talmudic times, in the event where she did not have a father, the mother or older brother were able to marry her off. And in question whether or not this is actually any form of a marriage to begin with, but certainly she has the ability to walk away from that relationship by doing something called miyun, which is to protest and say, I am no longer interested in being in this relationship. In the event that this was not done with her consent initially, then it actually means nothing to even begin with. However, in the event that she did consent, however, at some point she decides to no longer be in that relationship, she only needs to make this declaration called miyun, again, which basically says that she's not interested in continuing and staying in this relationship. On this, the Talmud tells us that even though they would marry girls off at a young age, in order for it to be a valid marriage at all, to even require any type of declaration, she has to have some level of maturity. She has to have some level of understanding. But let's say if someone would come up to her and say, I have a really great guy that you should marry. And if she would say, no, you know what, I just don't think he's fit for me. And the question is, why would she say that? Probably because she is so young, she doesn't even understand that she's married herself. And therefore, it clearly shows that it's not a marriage. And therefore, because of that, she would not even need to do miyun. She's completely not married at all. Alternatively, in the event where she actually does miyun, she walks away from this relationship, it's considered to be retroactively that they were never married. And therefore, because of that, when she gets older and she wants to get remarried, she could even marry his relatives. If he wants, he's allowed to marry her relatives. And if she wants to marry a Kohen, in which typically a divorced woman is not allowed to marry a Kohen, she's allowed to, because this is not considered to be a valid marriage. So even though it is true that we find in Talmudic times that there are situations where girls get married at a very young age, we see clearly when it comes to these situations that it is not so simple.